There's no doubt in my mind that one of the best small businesses to start is a membership for so many reasons. Not only is the whole world moving more towards subscription style services for all kinds of businesses and all kinds of industries, and not only is it amazing to have unexpected recurring revenue every month because someone has bought from you a long time ago and loves what you're doing and loves to stay involved and stay inside your membership. But there's the flexibility and the freedom that is like no other because you are not tied to being at your computer screen every single day, serving clients, or every single week. You can manage your membership the way that suits you best on your own schedule. And that's my favorite reason for having a membership program. But that's not what I'm here to share with you right now. I want to make sure that when you are launching your membership, that it is going to fly. And what I mean about that is that just because you have had a successful business in the past, selling coaching, selling products, selling courses, you name it, it doesn't mean that it is going to work as a membership and people will just automatically buy. You have to make sure that your membership is niched enough for people to get excited about it. So, what do I mean by that? Well, a niche really is a specialized product or service for a specific segment of the population. And so that is twofold. It means that it is a specialized service versus a very broad service. So, helping you grow an online business versus helping you grow an online membership. One is way more specialized than the other. And also, who is it for? I'm not helping big stores develop membership programs and huge businesses like that. I'm helping online experts, people who have skills, people who love teaching, people who love creating. And it's a very different audience than just everyone in the entire world who has a membership or a subscription. So narrowing it down helps people understand that I have something that I can help them with, and they get clear that what I'm offering is more applicable to their specific situation because we all know that learning from someone who teaches companies like Costco to develop loyalty and membership programs is not going to be relevant for many of us in the online business world. So, making sure our niche is really niched is very important. So, finding a niche market is just good due diligence for anyone who's starting a business or developing a new product or program for their business. It is just important to do it. So, how do we actually go about making sure that we have a good niche that's clear enough and compelling enough in order to launch it as a membership? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that it's a profitable niche, which basically means that you can earn more from launching it than it will cost you to put effort into getting people to buy. And that is just for any type of program. Some of the red flags you might have, if perhaps it's too niched, is if you don't see any keyword terms out there, nobody's searching for this thing. It's not something anyone talks about. It's so sophisticated and difficult to even have that interest or that skill set that you'd be looking for help in, that it just simply is impossible to find. There's probably not a big market for it. Just as if you have so many search terms for it, like successful business. That's just so broad and big that that would probably never be profitable because those kinds of search terms and brands are owned by the big companies. And those are the ones who are going to put the effort in to driving traffic and getting known for very general types of terms like that. So you'll know it won't be a profitable niche if you're in either of those two extremes. However, you still want to be a little bit more towards the specialty side than the generic broad side because that is just not memorable. And that means that every time you introduce yourself to the same person over and over again, your name, your offer, what you do isn't lingering in their head. And they're going to have to see you over and over again and before they really start to get to know who you are and what you offer because it's not going to be unique enough. So really, uniqueness is another way to go about it. All right. But let's talk about how to get this going for you, how to figure it out. Well, first of all, you want to do your research. So I talked about keyword research. Make sure that you've got search terms out there, but they're not the most popular, most expensive ones. That's a really great way to figure out if your niche is niched enough and if your membership is going to fly. And then you'll also want to just do research on what are the competitors doing? Is anyone got this amazing niche, but they're not offering it in a membership at all and don't seem to have plans to, that they've got an entirely different business model? Or are there really generic kinds of programs in your industry and none of them are specializing in the thing you're specializing in, or very few, or just small ones, ones that you could have plenty of room for all of them and you still in the market? There's opportunity in all of that. So just doing some research to find out what else is out there is going to be really, really helpful for you. And it's going to give you more confidence that you're heading in the right direction. But let's also think about testing it. Testing it is a great idea because sometimes we think we have an awesome idea, but then it doesn't really work for anyone else. So there's some simple tests that you can do. One of them is just to simply have conversations with people and mention it to them. And you're going to get one of two reactions usually. One will be their eyes will glaze over and they'll kind of not really get what you're talking about, or not find it interesting enough to even want to know further. And they'll be like, that's nice, or change the topic. And then you'll know that whatever you've got is a bit bland. Now, you don't want to have this conversation with just one person, like say a family member who's not that interested in your business anyway. You want to make sure you have the conversation a bit more. Maybe with some clients, maybe with some colleagues. They're going to give you some real honest feedback of whether or not they think you have something, or whether or not they're just like, yeah, that's okay. Then you know what, you've got to still work on it. And the other reaction you'll get is the one you want when you know you've got the good idea, is if you mention it to someone or a few people and their eyes kind of like perk up and they go, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. Even if they're not your ideal member for that program, they'll still recognize a good idea and find it interesting and be curious about it, which means it's clear enough for them to understand it. Even if they aren't specifically looking for that thing themselves, they'll still understand it. And that is also a really important little cross check to do, is to make sure that what you're putting out there is relevant in the world, because people get it and they understand it and they can see how someone else might find it really helpful. So that little eyes like lighting up look is what you're looking for when you're having this conversation. And then there's really more objective testing. So you can put out headlines on ads on any of the platforms or any of the organic social platforms. You can use these to generate feedback by seeing what people like or respond to or want to hear more of have a conversation with, or even your list, even if it's small, putting out different types of subjects and different types of topics said in slightly different ways is going to help you see what is more compelling to your audience than some of the other ideas or ways of putting it forward are. So those will really help you verify that you've got a niche that's like interesting enough, that's relevant enough, that's thought-provoking enough to get them to pay attention, to go that next level with you, to even finally considering joining your program, because it's going to take that initial interest to get them to follow through all the way to the end when they're like, wow, I probably should join this because this is going to give me the help I need. So there's one more way that you can figure out if your niche is going to be good enough for a membership program to fly. And that is to ask yourself, where would you like your members to be in a year from now? Now, that is an important one, because if your answer is, I don't know, or, well, everyone will be in a slightly different place, or I can't really define that clearly, or anything like that, then you know it's not clear enough, because you are still selling outcomes when you're selling a membership. Yes, it might take somebody 5 years to get there. And yes, it might take someone else 6 months to get here, and they still might stay for longer. But they still are there to get further ahead, and they're still attracted to a goal. So if you have zero clue about what your average member can achieve in your program in around a year's time, then you'll have to do more work on making sure that your membership objective for your members to get results is clear enough that they are going to be excited about it, and that you are going to be able to put it out into the world and get it sold. Because that's the number one one thing you're going to think about and worry about when you finally have launched your program. I'm really excited to be sharing more about my journey of how I got my membership started and a few more tips around how to sell it and how to position it in my upcoming training, the Six Figure Membership Secret, which I'm hosting in a couple weeks. All you have to do to sign up, it's totally free, is head on over to scalingdeep.com/live. You can get in and join us, and it's going to be an amazing event. So I really hope this has been helpful for you. Give it a like if you're on YouTube, and I'll see you next time with more on live launching. Bye for now.